Alright, on to early dust. This is Nem's birthday month. You hear your mom muttering to herself as she angrily pulls weeds from a garden bed. Stupid egotistical men going to get us all killed? You cough and she startles. Oh, Selene, she says. I didn't see you there. You're staying out of trouble, right? I don't want you on the wrong side of any war. You've been running with the defense guys a lot, your dad says, looking unusually uncomfortable. You know, your mom was like that too when she was your age. It changed her. He claps his hand onto your shoulder. I'm not going to tell you what to do, little beanpole, he says. I'm glad she got out of that life when she did. You spot Cal, almost asleep on his feet, propped up on his rake. As you approach, he snaps to attention. What? Oh, hey, Selene, he says, rubbing his eyes with his forearm. Just catching some shut-eye. Keeping the colony fed is a full-time job, and then some. Found something you might like. Have a bobber fruit. Food! Yeah. So it looks like we're going to have the time to try and convince one more counselor. I'm kind of thinking Utopia, since Lum did crush her hand and break her hollow palm, so she probably has strong feelings. Mouse scrolls through the holovid directory on her holopalm. With everything that's been happening, I honestly haven't had the time to watch vids in, like, whole seasons. Yeah. We've read that. Have a flower. And Rex, we are out of sticks, sadly. Another beautiful day in paradise, right? Yep. Hugs incoming. Yep, read that as well. So he also likes cake. What's your friendship at? Nearly maxed. You are at 96 out of 100. Well, I guess I can give him the cake because he likes it. Oh, thanks, Lane, but I'm trying to watch my figure, he jokes, pointing to his belly after he hands the cake back. Try me again on my birthday. I won't be able to resist. And we'll just go to command and buy another cake, because I think that was my last one, maybe? No, I still have another cake. Perfect. Then I don't have to worry about it for a while. Nomi takes off their Vert Space helmet and gives you a sunny smile. Hey, Selene, they exclaim. Do you want to play Laser Fable? We gotta be careful, because people get weird now when I'm running around shooting things, even if it's imaginary. But if we go around the back of the geoponics, it's usually okay. Have a crystal cluster. Makes rainbows! Yep. Hang. Yep, we read that as well. Done all that we can. Yep. Nem. Early dusk. This is Nem's birthday. So yeah, you catch Nem around side of the garrison, leaning her head against her arm. She pushes herself off the wall as you approach and rubs her eyes. What's up, Selene? Does someone need me? No, I need to give you an egg. Cool, thanks, Nem says, taking the egg. I guess it is my birthday this week. I kind of forgot. Just making sure you stay fed. You're pretty good friends with Rex, aren't you? Yep. Have some cake. Cake? I mean, I appreciate it, but why? It's not like it's my birthday. Yeah, I know. Alright, so that's everyone. Normally I wouldn't explore with my stress this bad, but it's not like we're actually planning to do a ton of the events. So we've already done Survey in the Ridge, so that we've got all the collectibles and all the collectibles from there. So I guess Survey the Plains? Yeah. Why not? We'll survey the plains, and hopefully we'll have an event where we talk to Utopia. Like that. Ooh, and logs. We needed those for Rex. I'm worried that this is just going to send us home. So even though it's going to waste more time, I'm going to run around, grab all the collectibles, ignore all the events, Because if that event there with Utopia is the talk about and get her to sign off on the mutiny, effectively, then it might send us home right afterwards. Alright, Sim, anything new or exciting to say? Have you decided what to do about the Overseer's offer yet? Sim asks, I don't mean to exert pressure on you, but your time is running short. Family, calm down. And yes, I'm doing my best to help with the Overseer's offer, but I feel it came a little too late for me to make major changes. But in a future run, maybe. Alright. Then we'll also get to see what the quest over here is. Yep, there is an event here. Which means if the Utopia one doesn't send me home, I have to run all the way back here. Oh well. It's a bit of time wasted, and I hope it's not too boring for all of you watching. Hopefully it's not too bad. One thing I'll comment on, because I don't think I've stated it before, is with the music, which I have commented liking multiple times. I think I saw something the creators of the game said, where they got multiple different musicians to play the different music, but for the seasonal music that they have, I think they intentionally went with like a simple style for your early childhood, and then the music getting more and more complex as the years go on. So it's a similar tune, just adding complexity, which I think is pretty cool. And so these later years, the music sounds a lot cooler and more intricate and more detailed as we've gotten older, which is a unique take on the seasonal music. You managed to part yourself with the Chief Surveyor herself on your next expedition. It's the perfect chance to talk to her about Governor Lum, but she beats you to it. Whew, this was easier trekking when we had hover bikes, Utopia says, as she hauls herself up a particularly difficult stretch of terrain. She reaches back to help you up. That villain Lum's using them all to search for aliens now, that's not like finding a needle in a haystack. He sent half my team out to the swamps now. She gestures at her empty holster, without weapons I might add. He's bleeding us dry out here. She scrubs the back of her hand across her mouth. That snake of a man thinks every little thing is a war. I don't like getting attacked by animals neither, but I sure miss being able to explore this planet without Lum getting his paws all over my division and taking my resources for his darn messy war. Funny you should mention. You tell Utopia about Mars's plan to overthrow Lum at the next Virtunalia. She seems excited by the prospect. You forget how young she is compared to the other council members. Sounds stellar, she says, clapping you on the back. The only question is, who you got in mind to replace him? Marzipan. Mars? Utopia drawls. Really? Isn't she a mite? Well, she's young. She crosses her arms and gives it a thought. Well, I was only 22 when I became Chief Surveyor, I guess. It's not too far-fetched, but why Mars? What's she gonna do different than that chauvinistic float cow's butt? Pitch me. Hunting is a dangerous waste of resources. Remember what Lum did to your hand? Okay, let me tell you what we'll do. I mean, that's clear of why we don't want Lum. Same with that. But why Mars? I don't know. Mars is not the best choice, but it's Mars or me or Lum. And I don't really want to be governor. Okay, we've got random card locked in. 76, there's a goal we can actually do. I mean, we've done all the others, so I guess that's not a fair statement. And we could do something like 8-7 and call that a 6. And then we get the straight bonus and the pair bonus. And keep some of our larger cards. Not that it really helped. We still don't really have good straights here. 5, 4, 3. That is problematic. Okay, so we can't really get a straight. There we go. I like that. Alright. Ooh, doubles card to the right. Neat. +1 to cards with gems. We don't have any. +1 for each unplayed card. That'll be a nice big number. If we get this one for being red, how's that compared if I instead tossed in, say, this one? That is slightly better. Alright. Slightly better to double this card? Okay. Sure. I'll take the win. Looks like you didn't need to pick her. Sunim is saying about Utopia. Yeah. I mean, it's always better to have the council members ready for when the mutiny happens. But yeah, she probably would have sided with us regardless. You and Utopia set out for a hard day's work surveying. As you work, explaining your plan and how Mars will do everything she can to protect Vertumna once she's governor. Utopia listens patiently to your pitch for her vote, giving you ample opportunity to explain your position. By the time the second sun is beginning to set and it's time to head back to the transport, you've made a solid ally. Utopia slings her arm around your shoulders as you walk back. Here's a tip from one young buck to another. Don't let anybody tell you you're too young, she says. You've been here on Vertumna just as long as any of us have. Yes, I have. Okay, and that didn't actually take us home, which means let's go to the boss event and run all the way back around again. Sorry. But it's not always clear which events are going to just immediately kick you home. And so I'm trying to be extra careful, but it is wasted time. But oh well, the game is awesome that a little bit of extra time isn't the end of the world. We'll get there soon enough. And yeah, I'm not overly worried if we don't succeed on getting Lum removed, and so we can't do the Overseer's goal, because that is a bit of a stretch to accomplish. And so if I get a different ending, it'll probably be an ending I haven't seen, and that's cool with me. You've been trekking up a gentle incline for what feels like hours before you finally reach the edge of a cliff. The plains spread out before you as far as you can see in every direction, sparkling lakes reflecting perfect circles of sky. Spark snow drifts lazily through the air, flickering like fireflies. In the distance, everything sounds muffled and peaceful. One of the suns is setting and the other is rising. It's spectacular. Let's just enjoy that sunset. Lose 30 stress, nice. You break out of some trail mix and enjoy the natural splendor of the sunset. You were getting kind of hungry. Let's go home. Governor Lum enters the colony square through his customary bombastic fanfare. Brass band, red carpet, banners with the Heliopause logo snapping in the hot dust breeze. It's inspiring. The governor gets his usual tithe of applause from die-hard soldiers, but it's obvious how tired and fearful everyone has become in service to his war. You catch Mars's eye, and she nods in solidarity. You've planned for this, you've planned this for so long, and now it's your chance to strike. While everyone is watching, if you can get the entire council to speak out against Lum today, maybe the rest of the colony is ready for change. Anyone's better than Lum, even a teenager. The entire council? I don't think we got the entire council. So, good luck. The governor raises his hands for silence, though it's largely unnecessary. Pioneers of Rotumna, he begins. We stand here today not shivering and quaking in fear, but with our hands around the neck, he makes a ringing gesture, of the planet herself. Before he can continue, Mars leaps from her seat and runs to the front of the stage. A ripple of fear goes through the crowd. You all remember what happened to Utopia last year. It doesn't have to be like this, she cries, speaking to the crowd. We don't have to listen to him. He's just a bully with a gun, like the ones we left behind on Earth. It's a typo, I think. Like the ones we left behind on Earth. Join Mars at the stage, or refuse to help Mars confront Lump. No, we'll join her. I think this is doomed to failure. You put yourself between her and Lum's honor guard. She flashes you a giddy, grateful smile and turns back to the crowd. She points to the governor. This man has made you think that the only way to survive is through violence, she says. He's just a soldier, and not even a good one. Violence only makes small, weak men feel powerful. She turns to the council. He's not powerful. We're powerful. We broke free of Earth. We broke free of war and bigotry and inequality, and we can break free of him too. Please, she urges, stand with me, reject Lum, and bring in the new era, a colony led by someone born among the stars. She holds her hand to her chest. Me, I can lead this colony. So can I. Governor Mars is the future. What about Administrator Seek instead? Governor Mars is the future. We're standing behind her. +1 council votes. I don't know which councilor we just got on our side, but go us. The buzz of the crowd is deafening, like a swarm of bugs all chirping together. Some of the council members are nodding, but it isn't unanimous. This is bull, Lum laughs. 2 children saying they can lead the colony? What's their first order of business? Taco Tuesdays? Soy sweets for dinner? He waves his hand dismissively. Have your stupid vote, he sneers, and we'll let the council decide. Out of the corner of your eye, you can see his guards with their weapons lowered, just waiting. Some of them look as interested in the change of leadership as you are. If you have the council behind you, even Lum supporters in the military could fall into line. You just might win. Let the council vote. The council deliberates. You and Mars clasp hands and tensely wait their decision. It only takes a minute. Unfortunately, it looks like some council members are arguing against you, which is bad. Their decision must be unanimous. You try to remember why you decided to do this here, live, in front of everybody. Chief Administrator Seek breaks away from the group, wringing their hands as they look up at Lum. The council has decided against any change in leadership, they say, their reedy voice gaining strength in the expectant silence. We apologize for the actions of these young patriots. Please forgive them and be merciful, Governor. Ouch. Probably chose the wrong people. Like, looking back on it, now seeing it as it is, the people who were against Lum that are easy to get on our side might have been the people we should have not gone with. Like, Utopia obviously would have sided with us. We didn't realize she was quite that strongly against him, but Utopia would have sided with us even if we hadn't approached. And probably, hopefully, same with our mom and Instance, because all of them hate Lum. Although Instance is afraid of Lum, so maybe not. But I don't know. Maybe going for the ones that were more strongly in Lum's corner might have given us a better chance. But I guess, who knows? Lum smiles with all his teeth down at you and Mars. Of course, he said. No hard feelings, children. You and Mars are ushered back to your seats by armed guard. As I was saying, you can trust me to lead this colony and humanity into a new era, he continues. An era of peace and prosperity where we no longer need to fear the creatures that come out in the night. He raises his fist to the sky. This planet is rich, he cries. It is the Earth we were promised, unscarred by the mistakes of our forefathers. Here, we will become what humanity has always strived to become. Caretakers of a new garden, children of a new Earth. Chastened by the failed mutiny, Lum's speech ekes out a bit more cheering from the crowd. Lum looks upon the colony square with pride. Pioneers, we're so close, he says. Soon this planet will be ours, and all her riches and wonders with it. But first, he continues, we need to adapt to the harsh realities of our current world. He gestures at the council. I know you all love your council, but it's time we thought about the future. We need to guard the colony leadership. He says this with some disdain, against sudden upheavals, deaths, imprisonments, and the like. I've decided to instate a second position for each seat on the council, he announces. Lum explains that every council member will take an official second in command. Seconds will be trained in the running of the department and will be ready to take over the department should the worst happen during an attack. The council looks concerned. Is this how Lum begins to cycle out the colonial government with a veneer of legitimacy? Well, maybe you should have voted Lum out of office if you're worried. A little late now. Applicants must have spent a minimum amount of time in that department and will be judged by the council based on their relevant skills, though Lum will likely argue hard for his Helio appointees. You scribble your name on the ballot for second administrator. We wouldn't succeed. We haven't done nearly enough in administration. Second security officer. We could possibly pull that off. We've done a lot in, or a decent amount in the garrison. That's what it's called. Second engineer. We could definitely get. Second cultivator. We could probably get. Second surveyor. We could definitely get. I'm going to go with second engineer. Even though Tang probably has that solidly to herself as well. There are benefits to future runs if we have spent time as a second engineer. So, I'm going to go with that one. You come forward to be added to the ballot. Tangent watches you with a wary expression as she adds her own name. Engineering has been a mess since Professor Hal died. Maybe this will help. The council discusses all the nominations at length, then you win! Your holophone chimes as Congruence updates your clearance to give you access to all the schematics for the ship and her systems. When the voting is concluded, Seek announces the names of those newly appointed seconds. The crowd cheers for you when Seek reads out your name as second engineer. Mars nets second administrator, much to Lum's disappointment. Ouch! The fact that Mars and I, who led the failed mutiny against Lum, have been put into leadership now, it's gotta annoy Lum. Vase is appointed to second security officer under Rhett. That's not terribly surprising. He gives a little speech essentially congratulating himself and promising to single-handedly win this war. Cal is chosen to be second cultivator. He looks a little overwhelmed. Your mom must have put his name in. Cal is a good choice there, though. Well, one could argue our dad is a good choice, but Cal is a reasonable choice. The steward of the heliopause joins Aunt Anne as her much-needed second steward. There's a lot of babies in the colony now, and someone has to help take care of them. Uncle Tonin comes out of retirement and rejoins expeditions, this time as Utopia's second surveyor. I will point out that if Dis is still around and in the colony, then Dis becomes the second surveyor, which is sort of amusing that he ends up getting a, actual leadership position in the colony because he doesn't care about the colony and doesn't fit sort of the leadership-y style of person. After the politicking is over, the crowd adjourns to the feast tables and eventually the dance floor. The sun set on the long day, the heat breaks, and the party continues well into the night. After the festivities, it's straight back to work as usual. Everyone complains you usually get at least a few days off after Virtunalia, but Lum reminds the colony that it's only a few short months before the next attack. Your dreams begin to increase in intensity as the wormhole draws closer to the planet. Filled with terrifying and confusing visions, a feeling of urgency dogs your steps, like you're running out of time. Mid-dust. Running out of time like we only have a few months left till the end of the game. Yeah, so I don't think I've seen whatever ending we are heading towards, so I'm curious to see how it plays out. It's Rex's little buddy, yep. We are in mid-dust, which is Nomi's birthday, so we'll have to give her a crystal. Or give them a crystal, apologies. Nem is standing with a few other soldiers. She nods at you as you approach. Peggy is standing at the door of the laboratory, looking out towards the walls and the wilderness beyond. We've done all we can. Yes, we have. Nomi, it's your birthday. Nomi watches a squadron of soldiers jog by. Yep. We have read that as well. Have a crystal. Oh, Nomi exclaims, making grabby hands at the pretty crystal. Happy birthday to me! I can't believe you remembered. Thank you. Of course I remembered. You think I would forget your birthday? Rex claps his hand on your shoulder and looks at you with a serious expression. You gotta take care of yourself, Selene. He says, unwind with me a little bit. It's all good over here in Rexland, baby. You know. Mars scrolls through the Holovid directory. Not even a comment about us losing? Nothing? You just move on? And I guess that is the simplest answer. Yep. The baby hop eyes. Your mom said no, I agree with her. Yep, we've read that one. Are you eating enough, drinking enough? Yep. Okay. So, we failed the mutiny, but luckily we're not, you know, arrested or whatever. Nothing terribly bad happened. So I guess we're really close to getting our next organizing perk. And we did just unlock assisting the governor pretty recently, and that does give us organizing and persuasion. So let's try assisting the governor, see what that's all about. And while we're at it, buy more cake because I used up the last of it. Infinite cake. Alright, assisting the governor. One of your first tasks as an administrator is to format the monthly reports to Earth. It's full of boring, carefully formatted data. Seek is very specific about it, and makes you redo it 3 times until you get it right. You drop off the report at the comms desk and realize you've yet to be told how to process any reply from Earth. You wonder if they reply at all. Ask Seek, ask Alum, or investigate on your own with our awesome organizing. Let's investigate on our own. You sneakily read through the administrative HoloNet files you're allowed to access now. There's a huge backlog of messages, all dating from during the 20 years the Stratospheric was in space. You scroll through the preview text you scroll through the preview text quickly, not wanting to draw too much attention to yourself. The majority of the messages are updates from the colony's allies in the Vertumna group, but every so often there's a message ordering the ship to cease and return to Earth, putting an end to their illegal immigration and return their stolen property. In the Vertumna group, if the Vertumna group weren't outlaws on Earth before, stealing congruence and the gene tech definitely did the trick. These messages are angry. There are no messages from any time after the Stratospheric landed on Vertumna. Maybe nothing can get through the wormhole. Maybe the communications system was damaged, and it wasn't until the heliopods landed that communications could be restored. Or maybe both planets are just shouting into the void. It's impossible to say. Alright. +6 if this has the highest value, but I think throwing another 4 breaks that. It does. But I can get a bunch of 4s. You can do something like that. Why not? Oh, because that doesn't meet the goal. That's why not. Well... Nope, that's still just 36. Nope, that only gets us up to 37. I mean, I can do the simple thing of just tossing down a mushwood log. There. We have met the goal. Apparently, even without the log, there was a way of getting up to 43. Oh well. We did cross the perk threshold. Extra card draw. Cool. I guess it'll tell us that now. New perk. Draw an extra card at the start of the challenge, and the effect stacked with the other extra card draw perks we've gotten. Marge is sitting with her head propped up on her hands. I just think I'd make a better governor, she sighs. Instead of this space head with a gun thinks he knows what's best for the colony. She rolls her eyes. Like, okay, he's older, but I've lived here almost half of my entire life. Like, who are you going to trust here? Ooh, we can now get into a debate because our persuasion is high enough. Marge would never stoop to using her fist to get her way, but she loves a good fight nonetheless. You ask her what she would have done differently if she'd been the captain of the Stratosphere when you landed. Her eyes go wide. She launches into the laundry list of shoulda, wouldas, and whatever she says she would have done, you offer reasonings for why it wouldn't have worked. After a little while, Marge is puzzledly invigorated. Wow, you really thought about all this, didn't you? She says, cracking a little smile. You're totally right. It's a lot more complicated than just making decisions and telling people what to do. Thank you. It's so important to have people like you around to keep me on my toes. She cracks her knuckles. Okay, but when I'm governor, I will do so much better than the adults can. Yeah, but you becoming governor seems to be a ways off. Yep, this is where Rex is smoking. We've read that. Nomi. I'm already thinking about my next game, Nomi says, twirling their pencil around a lock of pink hair. Should I make it a sequel to the first one, or something different? Ooh, maybe I'll write a romance game. They stop and giggle. Selene, don't look at me weird. Just because I don't know about sex stuff doesn't mean I can't write a good romance. Some things are universal. Sure. We've done all we can. Yep, we have definitely read that. Nem stares out at the wall, stone-faced. She barely acknowledges your presence. Face. You're pretty good friends with Rex, aren't you? Yep, I am. Certainly better friends with him than with you, Vase. Nothing out here. Head back down. It is Cal's birthday, but we are already maxed friendship with Cal. Yep, he's looking at the baby Popeyes. But it's your birthday, so I will give you a bobber fruit anyway. Oh wow, that looks delicious. Thanks for the birthday gift, Selene. You know I love to eat. Yes, I do. Don't much care for this war, your dad says, his voice dripping with disdain. I thought we left Earth so we could get away from this kind of thing. Then a bunch of soldiers show up and all of a sudden we're back where we started? He shakes his head. Don't like that. Not even one little bit. Your mom blinks at you like she hasn't seen you in a while. Wow, you're getting big, she mutters, shaking her head in disbelief. And we can also do her organizing speech thing. Tell her what you learned today. You tell her about the bedbug infestation you've been helping Mars with. On the down low, because Mars doesn't want anyone to know she has bugs. On Vertumna, bedbugs are as large as your toe and can burp up acid. It sucks. That would suck. You had to pull out everything from her room and take it to laundry or incineration, then get in there and scrub down every corner of her room while Mars squealed every time she saw a bug. It was a whole day clean. But by the end, Mars's room was sparkling and everything was put back even better than it had been before. Good job, kiddo, your mom says. I remember bed bugs back on Earth. Never thought I'd miss them. Vertumna has it way worse. Alright. What do we want to do with late dust? We can work on empathy and persuasion, try and get those perks, and creativity, because we're pretty close on... we're not that close on creativity, actually. I'm looking at where the purple ends, but that's not where we actually get the perk. So yeah, empathy and persuasion are probably the next perks we can reasonably get to. Toughness perk? A toughness perk would be nice, but we're actually way down here at 61. We're getting a plus something, plus 15. So we're actually at, I don't know, 15 minus 61 minus 15 is 46, if my math is right. Combat is actually reasonable. We could do something that boosts combat and toughness. We can see what they have in the garrison for combat and toughness. Guard duty is combat and bravery. Lookout duty, perception and animals, combat and animals, bravery and toughness. I mean, we could do guard duty for combat and bravery and just try and max out combat and get our bravery a little bit higher. It's probably better than working on empathy and persuasion because we're not really going to get that anywhere. So sure, we'll do guard duty and see if we can try and get combat and maybe even work up bravery. You're crossing the courtyard on patrol when a shadow blocks out the sun for a second. Then people start screaming. An absolutely massive creature swoops overhead and lands right in the center of the courtyard, kicking up dust and sending the other colonists scattering. You shield your eyes to get a closer look. It's almost like a pterodactyl, or maybe a dragon. Its wingspan is enormous, at least 15 meters across, and it definitely looks like it could pick up a human and fly away with it if it wanted to. It's not doing anything right now, though. It flexes its wings and considers you with 4 eerily intelligent eyes. As a guard, you're first on the scene. What do? Scare it away? Kill it? Convince it to leave? Or call for help? I'm gonna try and convince it to leave, rather than a hard combat challenge, to just straight up kill it without even trying to figure out what's going on. You've never seen one of these before, but you can figure out why it's here. The courtyard is a nice flat spot that soaks up a lot of heat during the day. It's just sunbathing. -1 to red cards? Eh. You run a hose over from geoponics and spray the giant beast down with cool water. It ignores you at first, but eventually it swings its beak toward you and gives you a few baleful squawks. Then it takes off, sprinkling the colony with droplets from the beating of its wings. Everyone's impressed you managed to handle that so well. Rhett lectures you for wasting time against an unknown, possibly dangerous creature, but he gives you some kudos anyways for handling the situation. This is much better than a hard challenge. Alright, we'll try not to use the 13, because the -1 to all other cards is going to make it difficult. We got a bunch of 5s. Ooh, +10 if this is the only blue card. I can definitely make that happen. I mean, it means it's not a 5 anymore, which was kind of the point. Yeah. They do think throwing in Vase's confidence is slightly better. Alright. Why not? There we go. Best score. +6 combat, +2 bravery. Still didn't max it, but it's close. Moving on to early wet.